My name is Avraham Poupko. I live in Jerusalem. I work in Tel Aviv in Israel. I'm a software architect. I've been a software architect for many years, and I love learning about how organizations create amazing software. I like learning about how people collaborate, how complex software systems work together, and I'm here at this conference in order to learn more about that aspect of the system, how people and systems collaborate in order to do amazing things. When we are first exposed to AI, we are astonished by the ability of the machine to talk, to write, to type in natural language. And we immediately wonder, what could it do? If it talks like a person, maybe it has person-like attributes. So I've been experimenting with AI over the last couple of years, seeing what it could help me do in the area of software architecture. And what I've discovered is, if I ask the right question, they will ask back the right question. I could do some clever prompt engineering in order to get the AI to offer me trade-offs, to offer me perspectives, to help me consider the various options available to me so that because ultimately I am accountable and AI is not accountable, I can make a right decision or a correct decision or a justifiable decision. In those areas where the architect needs verbal abilities, rhetorical abilities, abilities to use words, the AI can be very, very helpful. In those areas where the architect needs more model thinking, more abstract thinking, more complex thinking, the AI is not as helpful as I would like it to be. And I believe that we'll find those areas where AI is good at and uses them, and find those areas where AI is not good at and either improve or stop using them. And that's how craftsmen always work with tools. Craftsmen, whenever they have a tool, they find out what are the domains where the tool will help me, and then I start learning how to use that tool better and better, and where are the areas where the tools will not help me. And then I'll find another tool or get along with whatever tools I have been using until now. And that is the message that I'm giving in my talk, is find out or discover or explore or learn where is AI useful and use it there properly. Find the areas or identify the areas where AI is not being helpful to you, and invest your time and skill and resource using other tools. AI is sometimes treated as oracle or gospel. If the AI said it, maybe it's true. And we sometimes tend to suspend judgment once the AI says it, because the AI sometimes knows how to sound very, very convincing. So a big challenge is to continuously remember that I am accountable, and it is my decision to be made, and the AI at most can offer a suggestion or a trade-off, but it is my decision to be made. I have to keep on reminding myself of that. I live in three worlds. I live in the world of the domain, let's say the pay TV domain, what the customer needs are or what the business needs are. I live in the world of the software. What can the software do? What is the software supposed to do? And I live in the world of the organization. What are the people's skills, abilities, relationships, and how do they relate to each other? So each and every day, I have to solve at least one problem. It's either a real world problem or a software problem or an organizational problem. More typically, some combination thereof. I find it very challenging. I find it very satisfying, very rewarding. One thing that typifies my day-to-day activity is I make mistakes. I make at least one mistake a day. Hopefully they're not too costly, and hopefully they could be corrected that day or the next day. Because when you make so many trade-offs and so many considerations, you're bound to make mistakes. And one of the things a responsible architect is expected to do is to be brave enough or honest enough to admit their mistakes, to admit my mistakes, and be able to correct them going forward. Software architects are perpetual students. They're always learning. And one way to stay ahead of the curve is to be at a conference like this one, and to meet interesting people and to hear what their experiences are, and to share your experience with them and get their perspectives on it. You read a lot, you go to a lot of talks, you think a lot about your problems and how you've addressed them. You admit to having been wrong and try to do better the next time. Ultimately, that is how you stay ahead of the curve. An important part of staying ahead of the curve, so to speak, is to be able to earn the trust of the people around you. If the people you work with believe that you're honest, you're a person of integrity, and you're competent, then usually you're able to do good work. And if they think that you're deceitful or dishonest or not a good listener, it will be harder to be effective as an architect. Well, the complex relationships that the architect has to maintain or curate are part of what makes the role of the architect so exciting and so invigorating. So there's always a debate going on in the architecture community. Is complexity an opportunity that we should embrace, or is complexity a challenge that we should try to find ways to reduce? I like complexity. I thrive in it. So when I have the software that I use and the software that I create and how do they relate between the two, those are very, very complex relationships. And part of the reason that they're so complex is because there's also a human element in between. I don't just deal in relationships between software systems. I deal in relationships between people and software systems. You listen a lot, you experiment a lot, make a few mistakes, as we had mentioned. And slowly the connections start emerging and you start understanding what needs to be done, and you start helping propagate that understanding or that agreement. And one of the things that a good architect knows how to do is to create shared understanding, create what we might call conceptual integrity, where everybody sees things the same way and where the components themselves have some sort of consistency or integrity between themselves. That is a good question. I don't know the answer. I could offer a suggestion. When I come to think about how will our relationship with AI, and I talk about it as a relationship, evolve or develop over the next half a decade or so, or decade perhaps, what will be the relationship between humans and machines? And the relationship is changing, because currently the relationship between the human and the machine is like the relationship between a human and her tools. The human operates or manipulates the tool, and the tool does the conversions of energy or does the work. Now, LLMs or AIs, LLMs, large language models, they actually talk back, and they're part of they're more a partner in journey than they are a tool. We might, over the next 5 years, it might play out in one of several ways. We might be at the beginning of an acceleration model where we will see that the LLMs are becoming more and more powerful. I use the term tentatively and carefully. They might become more human-like, more capable of human thinking. They'll have to go beyond text. They'll have to go into other modes of communication. That's one option. The other option is that there'll be a long phase of disillusionment, and we've seen disillusionment in the AI world, where AI was a huge promise, it could solve all the problems, and then it can't. Or it might have plateaued, that AI today is the AI that we're going to see for the next couple of years. The plateau seems to me like a possible scenario. We had a huge acceleration. We've been accelerating for the last couple of years. Maybe now we're going to go through an era of stabilization, a couple of years where we're trying to just figure out the tool, but the tool is not going to be perpetually accelerated. And then we'll figure out how we could work with the tools. And then the tools might just be part of our life. Like today, a search engine. Search engines, to an extent, have reached their maximum capability, and now they're becoming more and more commonplace. Everybody knows how to use a search engine. Search engines aren't becoming better. They're becoming a little better. Maybe they do suggestion, maybe they operate a little faster, maybe they give better results. But ultimately, search engines for the last couple of years have been part of our life. They're just there and we use them well. Maybe AI will head in that direction. It'll plateau and it'll become just part of what we do. Tel Aviv is the high-tech capital of Israel in many senses. And there are a few things that typify Israeli culture, I would even say. And culture is one of the big supporters of innovation. We are comfortable speaking truth to power. So if I think that my CTO or CEO is in error, making a mistake, making a bad judgment, I'm encouraged to speak the truth without deference. We're a curious bunch. We're a very, very diverse bunch. Israel is an immigrant country with immigrants from all kinds of backgrounds and cultures and societies, and that contributes a great deal to innovation. So we speak a multitude of languages, we have a multitude of cultures, which expresses itself in our beliefs, in our values. Some of us are religious, some of us are atheists, some of us are somewhere in the middle. Some of us like more traditional ways of thinking, some of us are more modern, and we interact with each other, we learn from each other, we argue with each other. Arguing is Israel's national sport. We like arguing, but we also learn from those arguments, and that is part of what contributes to the innovative spirit. Why is a platform like this, like a conference where people get together and not only sit in a lecture together, but they interact, they ask each other questions, they're charmed by each other, they're fascinated by each other, they want to hear about each other's work, about each other's challenges. We have people here from industry, from government, from academia, and when these people get together and they talk about their craft, about their profession, about their hopes from the world. At the moment, I'm one of the more experienced or more tenured people at these conferences. And I see lots of young people, and they're curious, and they ask questions like, where is my career headed? What should I do? How will I live in the world of AI? What's a good thing for me to learn? Or what's a good experience for me to try to experience on my career trajectory? And then there are other people here that have been in the industry for a very, very long time, and they've made their mistakes and learned their lessons and corrected them and have had a very productive and satisfying career. And they talk in a non-judgmental environment. We don't have a deliverable. We don't have a piece of software or a project or a product that has to be delivered. We're just here to learn and have fun. Fun is a big part of it because fun allows us to get some trust. There's a multitude of languages. I hear a lot of English, a lot of German. I've heard some Turkish. I've heard some Arabic here. And the multitude of languages allows you to get a feeling for different people's views and experiences and cultures. And it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful learning environment. If someone wants to become a software architect, there are several things that they need, many things that they need to have, or many abilities that they need to develop. But I would emphasize their technical curiosity. They want to know about a lot of things. They read a lot. They go to a lot of lectures, and they constantly try to improve their communication skills. They learn how to use language as a communication method. They learn how to listen, how to hear other people's perspective and hear what's being said and hear what's not being said. They learn how to ask penetrative questions, and they learn how to be honest with themselves. They know how to admit to being wrong. They know how to admit to not having taken everything into consideration. It helps if an architect is energetic. Lazy people or bored people or tired people don't do well in the world of architecture. You talked before about staying ahead of the curve. So one thing that is an indicator of success as an architect, if people are energetic, they're able to go from place to place, topic to topic, move forward, are able to keep on being on the move.